Let me ask you something. How many times have you had a great idea, an incredible vision, or a dream that you knew could change your life, but you sat on it? You thought about it, analyzed it, debated it, and in the end, nothing happened. You're not alone. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time, the right moment, the feeling of certainty before they act. But here's the truth. That moment will never come. The difference between those who win and those who don't? Massive action. Not someday action, not baby steps action, massive, relentless, unstoppable action. Because the ones who succeed in life aren't the smartest. They aren't the most talented. They are the ones who move. They decide, they commit, they execute. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to break free from the chains of hesitation and step into the winner's circle. Are you ready? One bit, overthinking is your enemy. We live in a world where people glorify intelligence, but guess what? Some of the smartest people on the planet are stuck in jobs they hate, living lives they didn't choose, simply because they think too much and act too little. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. Perfection is the enemy of progress. The most successful people aren't sitting around debating their next move for months or years. They jump in, they figure it out as they go. Massive action beats perfect planning every single time. Overthinking is a silent killer of dreams, opportunities, and success. It disguises itself as careful planning, strategic thinking, and responsible decision-making, but in reality, it's just fear in disguise. It's the voice in your head that questions every move, that analyzes every possible outcome, that waits for the perfect time to act, only for time to slip away and nothing ever happens. We've been conditioned to believe that the more we think, the better decisions we'll make. But the truth is, the people who achieve the most in life aren't the ones who sit around thinking about what to do next. They are the ones who take action, adjust along the way, and figure it out as they go. Because action breeds clarity, and clarity breeds confidence. But when you're stuck in overthinking mode, you're playing a dangerous game. You're convincing yourself that you're making progress, when in reality, you're just standing still. Think about how many times you've had an idea that excited you. Maybe it was a business you wanted to start, a skill you wanted to learn, or a bold move you wanted to make. In that initial moment, the energy was there, the excitement, the passion, the possibility. It felt real. But then the mind kicked in, and suddenly that simple idea became a complex problem. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? Maybe I should wait until I have more experience, more resources, more confidence. And just like that, the energy fades, the moment passes, and the idea gets shelved for another day that never comes. The reality is, overthinking is just procrastination in a more socially acceptable form. It's an excuse wrapped in logic. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time or doing your research, when in reality, you're just avoiding the discomfort of stepping into the unknown. And the longer you stay in that cycle, the harder it becomes to break free. Because every time you hesitate, you reinforce the habit of hesitation. Every time you delay, you make it easier to delay again. The people who achieve massive success in life operate differently. They don't have all the answers before they start. They don't wait for certainty. They don't analyze every possible outcome before they take the first step. They move, they execute, they make decisions quickly and adjust as they go. They understand that success isn't about knowing everything before you begin. It's about having the courage to start and trusting yourself to figure it out along the way. The truth is, thinking alone will never create results. You can think about getting in shape, but until you step into the gym and start training, nothing changes. You can think about building a business, but until you make that first sale, it's just an idea. You can think about making a change in your life, but until you take action, everything stays exactly the same. 2, the 10x rule of action. Most people think success requires a little more effort. That's a lie. If you want extraordinary results, you need 10x the action. Whatever goal you have, multiply your effort by 10. Want to start a business? Make 10x more calls than you think you need. Want to get in shape? Train 10x harder than the average person. Want to be financially free? Take 10x more strategic risks. than you're comfortable with. The universe rewards massive energy. The more you put in, the more you get back. Most people severely underestimate the amount of effort, energy, and action required to achieve their goals. They set targets based on what they think is reasonable or realistic, and they take just enough action to feel like they're making progress. But what they don't realize is that this level of effort, the one they think is enough, is actually the very thing that keeps them stuck in mediocrity. Because in today's world, average effort guarantees average results. And in many cases, it guarantees failure. The 10x rule is about radically shifting your mindset around action. It's about understanding that whatever you think is required to achieve a goal, you need to multiply that effort by 10. 10 times the work, 10 times the intensity, 10 times the persistence. Most people set their targets too low and put in just enough effort to fail. They assume that a little more work, a little more discipline, or a little more focus will be enough to separate them from the rest. But the truth is, the difference between success and failure is never a small difference in effort. It's a massive difference. Look at the most successful people in any industry, business, sports, entertainment, technology. Do you think they put in a little more effort than the average person? No. They put in exponentially more effort. They work 10 times harder. They take 10 times more risks. They make 10 times more moves. While most people are moving at a comfortable pace, they are operating at a level so extreme that it makes success inevitable. It's not just about hard work. It's about overwhelming the problem with so much action that obstacles don't even stand a chance. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that their goal is too hard to reach, when in reality, their level of action is simply too low. If you aim to make an extra $10,000, you might take a few extra shifts, start a side hustle, or invest a little more. But if you approach that goal with a 10x mentality, you aren't thinking about $10,000. You're thinking about $100,000. And when you think at that level, your actions change. Instead of just working a little harder, you change your entire approach. You look for bigger opportunities, take bigger risks, and demand bigger results from yourself. Most people assume that playing it safe is the best strategy, but in reality, playing small is the riskiest move you can make. Because when you operate at an average level, you're in competition with everyone else doing the exact same thing. You're fighting for scraps in a crowded marketplace, trying to inch your way forward with small incremental improvements. But when you commit to massive action, you remove yourself from the competition entirely. While others are moving cautiously, you are dominating the field with relentless execution. The reason most people never reach their full potential isn't that they aren't capable, it's that they never push themselves beyond their comfort zone. They take action only when it feels safe, only when they're certain of the outcome, only when they have a guarantee of success. But that's not how breakthroughs happen. Breakthroughs happen when you go all in, when you commit to such an extreme level of action that success becomes the only possible outcome. When you start thinking 10x, your entire perspective shifts. You stop worrying about minor setbacks because you're too busy making massive moves. You stop waiting for permission, validation, or the right time because you understand that action creates opportunity. You stop thinking in terms of what's realistic and start thinking in terms of what's necessary to reach your goal. People who achieve extraordinary success aren't working within the limits of what seems possible. They're shattering those limits with an unstoppable force of action that makes winning the only option. 3, don't fail fast, win faster. Most people fear failure, but that fear keeps them frozen. What they don't realize is this: failure is fuel. Every setback teaches you. Every mistake sharpens you. Every rejection toughens you. The people at the top, they didn't get there by avoiding failure. They got there by failing more than anyone else, but they never quit. They learned, they adapted, and they moved forward. Your goal isn't to avoid failure. It's to fail faster so you can win sooner. Most people are terrified of failure. They see it as something to avoid at all costs, something that defines them, something that signals they're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. But that mindset is exactly what keeps them stuck. They wait, hesitate, and overanalyze because they're trying to make the perfect decision, the one that guarantees success without any risk of failure. But the truth is, there is no success without failure. The people who win in life aren't the ones who avoid mistakes. They're the ones who fail more often and faster than everyone else, because every failure is a lesson, every mistake is feedback, and every setback is an opportunity to adapt and improve. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. And the faster you learn, the faster you win. Think about a child learning to walk. When they take their first steps, they don't get it right the first time. They stumble, they fall, they crash, but they don't stop. They don't sit down and think, maybe I'm just not meant to walk. They keep getting up, they adjust, they learn what works, and before you know it, they're running. That's how growth works. But somewhere along the way, people stop embracing failure. They start playing it safe. They avoid risk, and as a result, they stop growing. If you look at the most successful entrepreneurs, athletes, and innovators, you'll see a common pattern. They've failed more times than the average person has even tried. They didn't reach the top because they got everything right on the first attempt. They got there because they were willing to fail over and over again, making adjustments along the way until they figured out what worked. Take Thomas Edison, for example. When he was inventing the light bulb, he reportedly failed over 10,000 times. But he didn't see those failures as wasted efforts. He saw them as 10,000 lessons on what didn't work. Every failed experiment brought him closer to the right solution. That's the mindset of a winner, someone who understands that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the pathway to success. Most people operate with the opposite mindset. They see failure as a stop sign rather than a stepping stone. They try something once, it doesn't work, and they immediately retreat. They assume they're not good enough, that they're not cut out for it, that they're just unlucky. But what they don't realize is that success is simply the result of staying in the game longer than everyone else. The person who fails 100 times and keeps going will always be miles ahead of the person who quits after their first setback. This is why action is so important. The more you act, the more you fail. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you get. And the better you get, the faster you win. But if you sit on the sidelines, afraid to take action because you might fail, you rob yourself of that learning process. You rob yourself of the growth, the resilience, and the experience that come from pushing through obstacles. People who win big in life have developed an entirely different relationship with failure. They don't take it personally. They don't let it crush their confidence. Instead, they expect it. They see it as part of the journey, something to be embraced rather than feared, because they understand that every failure is just another step towards success. If you want to move fast, if you want to achieve massive results, you have to stop seeing failure as something negative. You have to start seeing it as necessary. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you adapt. And the faster you adapt, the faster you win. 4, emotions follow motion. You ever wake up feeling sluggish, unmotivated, tired? And what do most people do? They wait until they feel like taking action. But that's backward thinking. Your emotions don't create action. Your action creates emotions. Feeling unmotivated, move your body. Feeling uninspired, take the first step anyway. Feeling scared, do it afraid. The moment you start moving, your brain kicks into gear, your energy shifts, and suddenly you're in momentum. Most people think their emotions control their actions. They believe that in order to take action, they need to feel motivated, inspired, or ready. So they wait. They wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right level of confidence before they move. But what they don't realize is that this approach is completely backward. Your emotions don't create action, your actions create emotions. Think about a time when you didn't feel like going to the gym, but you forced yourself to go anyway. At the beginning, you were sluggish, tired, and unmotivated, but as soon as you started moving, as soon as you lifted that first weight, ran that first mile, or finished that first set, something changed. Your energy increased, your mindset shifted. By the end of the workout, you felt strong, powerful, and accomplished. And the funny thing, that feeling didn't exist before you started. It was created by your movement. Now apply this to every area of life. How many times have you put off an important task because you didn't feel like it? Maybe you wanted to start a business but didn't feel confident. Maybe you wanted to speak up in a meeting but didn't feel courageous. Maybe you wanted to approach someone new but felt too nervous. And what happened? You stayed stuck. You let your emotions dictate your actions instead of using your actions to change your emotions. This is one of the biggest lies we've been taught, that we need to feel ready before we take action. But the truth is, if you wait to feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Action creates readiness. Action creates confidence. Action creates momentum. Look at any top performer, whether it's a world-class athlete, a successful entrepreneur, or a top leader, and you'll notice something. They don't rely on motivation. They don't wait to feel inspired before they move. They move first, and the emotions follow. This is why some of the most powerful techniques for overcoming fear and hesitation involve immediate action. Ever heard of the 5-second rule? It's simple. The moment you think of something you should do, you count down from 5 and do it before your brain talks you out of it. Why does this work? Because it bypasses overthinking and forces motion before doubt kicks in. And the moment you take action, your emotions catch up. The same principle applies to confidence. Most people assume confidence comes before action, but confidence is built through action, not before it. Think about learning a new skill, let's say public speaking. If you've never spoken in front of an audience, you're probably going to feel nervous, uncertain, maybe even terrified. But the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. With each speech, your confidence grows. Not because you magically felt more confident one day, but because your repeated actions rewired your emotions. Your physiology also plays a massive role in shaping your emotions. If you're feeling down, notice your body, shoulders slumped, breathing shallow, movement slow. But if you force yourself to stand tall, take deep breaths, and move with energy, your state changes instantly. Tony Robbins often teaches this with a simple exercise. Try feeling depressed while jumping up and down, smiling and shouting with excitement. You can't do it because motion shifts emotion. This is why people who take massive action seem to have unstoppable energy. It's not that they were born that way. It's because they condition their bodies and minds through movement. They don't sit around waiting for motivation. They create it through action. And the more they move, the more momentum they build. The key to success isn't waiting for the right feelings. It's about moving first and letting your emotions catch up. If you want confidence, take bold action. If you want energy, start moving. If you want motivation, stop thinking and start doing. Because in the end, your emotions are not the driver, your actions are. 5, your environment shapes your results. You want to know the biggest predictor of your success? Look around. Who do you spend time with? What do you consume? What kind of conversations are you having daily? Because success isn't just about what you do, it's about what surrounds you. Hang around action takers and you'll start moving. Hang around procrastinators and you'll start doubting yourself. Hang around winners and you'll start winning. If your environment isn't pushing you forward, change it. Your environment is shaping your results every single day, whether you realize it or not. The people you surround yourself with, the conversations you have, the media you consume, the habits you reinforce, all of these factors are either pushing you forward or pulling you backwards. Success isn't just about your mindset or work ethic. It's about what's around you, influencing you every single moment. Most people don't take this seriously enough. They assume that as long as they stay disciplined and motivated, they can succeed no matter what, but that's not how it works. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, by people who doubt you, by distractions that drain your energy, then no amount of motivation will be enough to overpower that influence in the long run. Look at any high achiever, any world-class performer, and you'll notice something. They carefully design their environment to support their success. They don't leave it up to chance. They make sure they're surrounded by people who challenge them, who push them to be better, who are also striving for greatness. They eliminate distractions that waste time and energy. They create routines and systems that make success the default, not the exception. Think about a plant. You could have the strongest, most genetically superior seed in the world, but if you plant it in dry, rocky soil with no sunlight and no water, it's not going to grow. It doesn't matter how much potential the seed has, it needs the right environment to thrive. The same goes for you. You are a product of your surroundings. If you're in an environment that fuels growth, you'll grow. If you're in an environment that stunts growth, you'll struggle no matter how much talent or ambition you have. The biggest factor in your environment, the people you spend time with. You probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't just some motivational quote, it's a psychological reality. If you're surrounded by people who are driven, ambitious, and constantly leveling up, that energy will rub off on you. You'll start thinking bigger, taking bolder action, and raising your own standard. But if you're surrounded by complainers, doubters, and people who settle for mediocrity, you'll start lowering your standards without even realizing it. It's not just about people, it's also about what you consume. If you're constantly watching negative news, scrolling through social media filled with distractions, or filling your mind with entertainment that doesn't serve your growth, then don't be surprised when your focus and motivation suffer. Your inputs determine your outputs. Just like putting low-quality fuel in a car will make it run poorly, feeding your mind with junk will slow you down. Your physical environment matters too. If your workspace is cluttered, if your home is filled with distractions, if your daily routine is chaotic, then your productivity and focus will suffer. High performers don't just discipline themselves, they design their surroundings to make success effortless. They create an environment where the path of least resistance leads to positive action. Most people go through life adapting to whatever environment they find themselves in instead of taking control and shaping it. They let their surroundings dictate their behavior instead of designing surroundings that reinforce the behaviors they want. But the moment you realize that your environment is either your greatest asset or your greatest obstacle, you can start making changes. Take a close look at your current environment, the people, the influences, the habits, the routines. Are they helping you move forward or are they holding you back? Because whether you recognize it or not, your environment is shaping your results every single day. 6, the 90-day massive action challenge. I challenge you right now to take the next 90 days and commit to massive, unstoppable action. Choose one goal, one big goal. Write down the top 3 actions you can take every single day to move toward it. No excuses, no waiting, just action. Because in 90 days, you won't just be further ahead, you'll be a different person. This is your moment. This is your time. The only question is, are you going to step up and take massive action, or will you stay stuck? Decide, move, win. The choice is yours. Most people set goals with the expectation that they'll achieve them someday. They move slowly, take small steps, and wait for the perfect moment to go all in. But real success isn't built on half measures or casual effort. It's built on intensity, speed, and massive action. And that's exactly what the 90-day massive action challenge is about. This challenge is designed to push you beyond your comfort zone, force you into consistent action, and accelerate your results faster than you ever thought possible. It's not about hoping things change, it's about making things happen. Why 90 days? Because 90 days is enough time to completely transform your habits, mindset, and trajectory. It's long enough to build real momentum, but short enough to create urgency. Most people drift through months or even years without making significant progress because they operate with no real sense of urgency. They convince themselves that they have time, that they can do it later, that small steps are enough. But in reality, massive progress requires massive effort in a condensed period of time. The 90-day massive action challenge eliminates hesitation, overthinking, and procrastination. It forces you to commit fully, push harder than ever, and operate at a level of intensity that most people will never experience. Here's how it works. For the next 90 days, you pick a goal, one that excites you, scares you, and has the potential to change your life. It could be launching a business, transforming your body, mastering a skill, or hitting a financial milestone. Whatever it is, you don't just commit to trying, you commit to going all in with 10 times the effort, 10 times the energy, and 10 times the consistency you originally thought was necessary. Most people underestimate the level of action required to achieve real success. They assume that working a little harder or being a little more consistent will get them extraordinary results. But small efforts create small results. The real game changer is taking so much action in a short period of time that success becomes inevitable. During these 90 days, there is no waiting for motivation, no excuses, and no second guessing. You wake up every day with a clear mission and attack it with relentless execution. If it's building a business, you're making 10 times more sales calls, producing 10 times more content, and networking 10 times harder. If it's transforming your body, you're training like an athlete, eating with precision, and treating every workout as if your life depends on it. Whatever your goal, you are going all in with no holding back. Why does this work? Because massive action eliminates doubt. When you take small steps, you give yourself time to question everything. You start overanalyzing, second-guessing, and delaying. But when you commit to aggressive execution, you don't give yourself the option to hesitate. You don't wait for the perfect plan. You move forward, adjust along the way, and build momentum through sheer force of action. By the time you hit the 30-day mark, you'll already be ahead of 99% of people, because most people never sustain intense action for more than a few days. By 60 days, you'll build so much momentum that stopping will feel unnatural. And by 90 days, your entire mindset, discipline, and work ethic will have transformed. You will have conditioned yourself to operate at a higher level permanently. Most people think success is about talent, luck, or intelligence. But in reality, it's about speed and intensity. The faster and harder you move, the faster you learn, the faster you adapt, and the faster you win. The 90-day Massive Action Challenge forces you to break through barriers, eliminate hesitation, and prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Most people underestimate the level of action required to achieve real success. They assume that working a little harder or being a little more consistent will get them extraordinary results. But small efforts create small results. The real game changer is taking so much action in a short period of time that success becomes inevitable. During these 90 days, there is no waiting for motivation, no excuses, and no second guessing. You wake up every day with a clear mission and attack it with relentless execution. If it's building a business, you're making 10 times more sales calls, producing 10 times more content, and networking 10 times harder. If it's transforming your body, you're training like an athlete, eating with precision, and treating every workout as if your life depends on it. Whatever your goal, you are going all in with no holding back. Why does this work? Because massive action eliminates doubt. When you take small steps, you give yourself time to question everything. You start overanalyzing, second-guessing, and delaying. But when you commit to aggressive execution, you don't give yourself the option to hesitate. You don't wait for the perfect plan. You move forward, adjust along the way, and build momentum through sheer force of action. By the time you hit the 30-day mark, you'll already be ahead of 99% of people, because most people never sustain intense action for more than a few days. By 60 days, you'll have built so much momentum that stopping will feel unnatural. And by 90 days, your entire mindset, discipline, and work ethic will have transformed. You will have conditioned yourself to operate at a higher level permanently. Most people think success is about talent, luck, or intelligence, but in reality, it's about speed and intensity. The faster and harder you move, the faster you learn, the faster you adapt, and the faster you win. The 90-day Massive Action Challenge forces you to break through barriers, eliminate hesitation, and prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined.